What are your thoughts on the technology, aspect of that, and bringing on things like, CSDs into the equation? How do you make these things coexist, but how do you accelerate so you get more benefit?
Yeah, that's probably where I'm a bit more bullish on the adoption of these assets. I mean, we think every asset's going to be on chain. This technology benefits the issuer, the infrastructure, the investor for numerous reasons. So it's inevitable that this is coming. And you mentioned central securities depositories. And for those that don't know, like DTCC, Euroclear, they're kind of the books and records for a lot of publicly traded securities. And every single one of them, Euroclear, Clearstream, DTCC, these guys are looking at tokenization.
What's going up, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here. Today, we're going to have an amazing video for you. Today, we're going to be learning about real world assets on chain. This is something I've been talking about for a very long time on this channel, and now it's starting to become a reality. We're seeing here at Ripple Swell, it's going to continue to grow. Real world assets. We even have Larry Fink. We're going to be covering that in just a second, talking about bringing every real world asset to the chain. And we also know that Ripple XRP, the XRP Ledger, is leading the charge in this. We've been talking about this for a very long time. And we have a lot of that evidence we're going to be showing you today in this video. And by the way, if you are new here, my name is Ryan Huggins. I'm a crypto and real estate investor here in Southern California. And I pride myself on finding information and bringing it to you in a very condensed manner. Because if you're like most people, you don't have an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day to spend searching for information. And that's what we do here on this channel. So if you're looking for something like that, make sure you click that subscribe button. If you're going to be the first millionaire in your family, click the subscribe button. And if you're feeling bullish and you're feeling blessed on this bull market that's about to start running now, let me know down in the comments 777. Before we dive in, please note that the opinions in this video are for informational and educational purposes only and do not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. All investments, including cryptocurrencies, carry risks and potential losses. Always do your own research and consult a licensed financial advisor. All right, and jumping over here to x.com, I just wanted to show you guys right now what we're talking about, because this just came out as well, October 16th, as we see here. Report real world asset tokenization sector could see 50x growth by 2030. And we're early. We always talk about how early we are. And you guys know that we're early. If you're watching this right now, you're early. Congratulations to you. Smash that thumbs up because you're early. Potentially reaching $10 trillion. All right, so let's talk about what we've been talking about. Everyone wants to bring real world assets to the XRP Ledger. Now, is there going to be another layer one or another chain that might bring these? Yeah, there's a possibility. But let's take a look. We looked at this a little bit in the other video, but let's see who could be bringing real world assets and what are real world assets we're going to cover. McKinney and Company could be bringing 2 trillion to 4 trillion. We have 21 Co, 3.5 trillion to 10 trillion. Citigroup bringing 4 trillion to 4 trillion. Roland Berger bringing 10.9 trillion, BCG bringing 16 trillion, Standard Chartered bringing $31 trillion. Again, adding these up, nearly 80 trillion dollars that could be brought in. And we're just tipping the iceberg over here at $10 trillion. And if we're talking about someone who has some pull in the industry when it comes to finance, of course, we have Larry Fink, Mr. BlackRock. So let's hear, what does Larry Fink have to say?
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities around bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we can customize strategies through tokenization that it fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
And right now you may be thinking to yourself, Ryan, I don't get it. You're not, how is this relation to XRP? How is this in relation to Ripple, right? Because you've talked about Larry Fink. Well, we also saw asset managers talking at Ripple Swell, which I just showed you. But here we also have the Ripple CTO, David Schwartz, unveiled that XRP Ledger is advancing toward real-world asset tokenization, an area being targeted by major players like JP Morgan, Bank of America. XRP is on track to become the global benchmark for cross-border payments. But on top of cross-border payments, what if every asset was tokenized on the ledger as well?
Yeah, you're right that institutional adoption of XRP Ledger technologies is growing. I think part of it is just the heritage of the XRP Ledger that was built around enterprise and financial applications. Cross-border payments was the product that the XRP Ledger was originally built for. What we were looking at back in those very, very early days was how would there be enterprise adoption of, Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency at the time. What we think is like, how would there be enterprise adoption of Bitcoin? There would have to be bridges and connections, and there'd have to be, these other technologies. As far as trends and the way it's moving, real world asset tokenization, I think, is something that I'm pretty excited about right now, because that's a real problem, and there's real interest from mainstream financial giants like JP Morgan and Bank of America are actively pursuing tokenization of traditional assets. So I think that's an area to watch, and I think that's an area where the XRP Ledger is going to excel.
All right, now you're coming around. You're like, okay, Ryan, I get it. But what is an RWA? What is a real world asset? And well, today we're going to go over that right now. So get out your pen and paper if you have it. This is important. So a real world asset, they refer to tangible assets that exist outside of the digital realm. Think of a house, think of a stock, okay? These can range from bonds to real estate properties, commodities, machinery. The concept of real world in the blockchain context is about digital tokens that represent these physical and traditional financial assets. Now, you also heard Larry Fink talking about voting. Well, what if we started talking about voting? Because right now we know politics is going on. What about elections being monitored through the blockchain? Now, this does include currencies, commodities, equities, and bonds. The tokenization of real-world assets is seen one of the largest market opportunities in blockchain industry, with a potential market size of the hundreds of trillions of dollars. But how does it work? Well, here's the process. Tokenization is the process of converting a real-world asset into digital tokens through blockchain technology. This process aims to enable fractional ownership and make high-value assets more accessible to a wider variety of individuals by facilitating the division of assets into smaller, more affordable units. Tokenized real-world assets such as real estate, art, commodities, and even intellectual property strive to offer greater liquidity, transparency, and accessibility. The digitization of physical assets is often seen as a way to modernize and democratize conventional financial markets. So imagine this. Let's say you have a house and you have an idea as an investor. You're going to buy an investment property and you're going to hold on to it, or you're going to flip it, or you're going to turn it into a rental, whatever the case may be. And you didn't have enough money to actually buy it yourself, and you wanted to raise capital. And what you did is you sold fractional shares of that house. Maybe you have 5,000 people buy the property. You buy a $500,000 house, 5,000 people. You're looking at $10,000 a person. You remodel the house. Now it's worth $1 million. You could sell it. Everyone makes money. That's just a simplification of it. Now, the other thing would be, they're talking about art here. What if you could buy a piece of a Van Gogh, of a Monet? This is what is coming. That is like real world assets, physical stuff, let alone commodities and stocks. All right, now you're starting to catch on. You're getting it. You're seeing the excitement. You're seeing how big of a market this is. What are the benefits? Well, tokenizing real world assets brings several benefits. Enhanced liquidity is one of the most significant advantages. Unlike traditional markets with set trading hours, the nature of blockchain technology allows for continuous engagement with these tokens, providing individuals with more flexibility. Moreover, the transparency built into the blockchain technology increases investor confidence, further reducing the possibility of fraud and ownership conflicts. Tokenization also aims to lower the costs associated with asset management, such as paperwork, intermediaries, and legal fees, by removing many of the entry barriers prevalent in traditional financial markets. So let's say, for example, art. We just talked about art a little bit. So you buy a Monet piece of art, right? Very expensive, millions of dollars. Well, we also know that there's fake art out there. You've heard, like, you've seen all the movies, where they steal a piece of art and put a fake one in its place or whatever. Well, the great thing is these pieces of art would have provenance, and there would be ownership attached to it through the blockchain. You would also be able to etch a digital tag onto the item so that way you know that it is the actual physical piece. Now, it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be some difficulties. So what are the challenges? Well, despite the potential benefits, tokenization of real-world assets also presents challenges. Regulatory considerations that differ by jurisdictions are significant concern. Any tokenization project must adhere to local laws and regulations. Security is another crucial issue due to vulnerability of digital assets and fraud and hacking, which we've seen people's wallets getting stolen or your key phrase getting stolen, you get hacked. Effective custody solutions and security measures are required to prevent and preserve these assets. What about the role of real-world assets in decentralized finance? Real-world assets find a place within DeFi, increasing the availability of these often inaccessible financial tools and opening a new horizon of applications. The tokenization of real-world assets may contribute to the broader acceptance of the crypto industry. With the potential to influence global economies, the opportunity exists. Its acceptance in traditional finance is ongoing. Nonetheless, technology can change how we interact and engage with physical assets. So what are real-world assets? We just covered it. This, in my opinion, is going to be the biggest move in crypto. So now that we've got that main topic out of the way, let's jump back over to X and let's take a look. What else is hot in the news right now? Bitcoin is at 68K, but everyone's been abused by price over the past few years, and they don't believe that this is it. I get it. But the facts are every bull run has kicked off in October. Election is 3 weeks away, and Trump will probably win. China is printing money. US is cutting rates, and then they'll have to print more money soon. Global liquidity is going parabolic. Unemployed dumping hard. Economic numbers are almost all looking good. BlackRock is buying heavy. I could go on and on, but it's obvious what comes next. And this is from Lady of Crypto over on X. I think it's a very, very great idea of positivity in the markets because right now a lot of people are doom and gloom, but that was really positive of why the bull run could be kicking off. Also, just in, Venmo's 60 million US users can now buy crypto using MoonPay on their app. That's super bullish, of course. And what's more big time in the news right now than the SEC versus Ripple? Ripple has officially won the case, confirmed by ChatGPT. Now, we know this is not true, but is it true? It's not true. Is it true? It's not true. Well, we don't know. We do know that the appeal that was going to be set by the SEC needed to be filed yesterday was not filed yesterday. There is some news out there right now stating that they do actually have until Friday. Everyone thought it was yesterday. Now today's Thursday, but tomorrow's Friday due to the signing of the appeal. Not to mention it's the government. They always cheat, so they're going to be able to do whatever they want on any time frame. We won't know until it's officially over. Once they say it's over, then we will know that it's over. But the original post here from Wall Street Bulls, major update, SEC Ripple case, the game is over. The docketing date, filing date are not the same. The court only considers the filing date. The SEC has 14 days to act, but it missed its deadline on the filing date, which was yesterday. It looks like they've missed the boat, and the case could be ending soon. The case is over. And this just in, over Watcher Guru. Bank of America warns that gold may be the final safe haven as U.S. Treasuries face risks from rising national debt. Bank of America warns that gold is the final safe haven. So we have Bank of America saying gold is the final safe haven, and then we also have BlackRock, Larry Fink, saying Bitcoin may be the final safe haven. We also have some more updates from the Ripple conference, Swell going on. Let's take a look at this one. Global banks are evolving to meet the demands of custody and security. In this Ripple panel, Associate Generals Thomas Sullivan describes how they're adapting to enhance protection and manage risk in today's complex financial landscape.
There is a legacy of trust that we've been able to build and establish with customers. And you need to have trust. You need to trust your parties, whether it be your technology providers, whether it be your custodians. You know, that's what we're definitely seeing is that customers want to be able to, have responsible parties that they can interact with, that they can, have that established trust. Most institutions' assets are in traditional finance today. And you want to have the experience where, you can see all of your assets in one place and, have that seamless experience.
Definitely agree with that one. Also, we have here from the Ripple Swell conference, as the tide of opportunity rises, the promise of blockchain lifts all boats. Dan Pantera, Brad Garlinghouse take us home to close out the 8th annual Ripple Swell.
This Venn diagram shows a pretty small square between the hope and the hype. Where are we now? Blockchain has so much promise that it is often overhyped, that people think it'll change everything and think it'll do it overnight. It's going to change a lot of things and it's going to take decades. But I think the promise is really coming to fruition. But part of it is just a rising tide of opportunity is floating a lot of boats.
Also from the Swell conference, crypto scams are evolving, but so are strategies to avoid them. Deborah McCrimmon, VP and Deputy General Counsel at Ripple, was joined by Philip Martin, Chief Security Officer at Coinbase, to discuss the importance of continued education and share the key tips on protecting yourself against scams.
If you're in a position where you're investigating these scams, you have so much more information available to you, both individually on an individual transaction and in an aggregate basis. Because the more assets are involved in investigation, the more the law enforcement is going to pursue that investigation. We can go and look at the volume of transactions, where they're going. We can make some assumptions about, is this address illicit or is it not? Try doing that with the US dollar economy. Unless you're making very, very significant assumptions, you will have a hard time getting to a data-backed percentage of illicit activity.
All right, guys. And speaking of bringing things on chain to the XRP Ledger, let's talk about CryptoLand, the first and best play to earn game over on the XRP Ledger. Very, very huge news coming out. As you know, I always talk about being early, and if you are playing this game or not playing this game is extremely early. CryptoLand community, we're excited to announce that we're finally transitioning out of beta for in-game actions, rent, mine, thieve, govern, and rule, and officially moving to version 1. Final testing is currently underway and an official push schedule for the end of this week. So if you're looking to have some fun with us, you want to come play this game, the link is down in the description below. I'm going to go check in with my team right now. So let's go see how my game pieces are doing. So what we do is we click the little dots at about the top. We go into the game. We're going to enter the game here. And for those of you guys that are not aware, if you go to bullrunners.com/CryptoLand, this is where you can find everything. It is the first link down in the description below. But discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. We do have an 8-minute video here. It's real easy to go learn. Nick explains how to play it. The Zomin wallets, what you're going to use. The actual game pieces, which are really cool and what they do. You can learn it all by clicking that link down in the description below. But what we're going to do is we're going to go check in on my pieces for the day. So we're going to click on the mining. Oh, got to connect my wallet here. All right, all scanned in. So we're going to go click on our rent and let's go see how our land did today. So it is finished. So I have a choice here. I could select the duration of 3 days, 7 days, or 1 day. And we're going to select our piece of land here. We're going to put it to work. And what we do is we just simply select this button right here. So after we select the checkbox of our land, how many days we want to put it into action, we click the button right here.